Imagine sitting down at the end of the year and adding up every purchase that felt reasonable when you made it. You notice the headphones bought during a flash sale, the streaming service started with an introductory rate that never ended, the jacket that seemed like a bargain next to its original price, and the small upgrades that followed a single larger buy. None of these felt like mistakes in the moment. Yet together they account for nearly $2,000 that could have gone toward an emergency fund, a vacation, or simply stayed in the bank. This pattern repeats across millions of households every year. The spending does not come from obvious overspending on luxuries. It comes from ordinary decisions shaped by how offers are presented and how the mind processes value. Behavioral economics reveals 5 consistent mental shortcuts that drive these outcomes. Each one operates quietly yet produces clear financial costs when left unchecked. Understanding them turns vague frustration about where the money went into specific, actionable awareness. Anchoring begins the moment a number appears and remains in memory as a reference point. The first price or figure encountered shapes later judgments, even when that number has no real connection to actual value. Experiments have shown this effect repeatedly. Participants asked to estimate the price of an item after first seeing a high random number gave answers much closer to that high figure than participants who saw a low number. Retail environments use the same principle constantly. A watch displayed at $650 with a sale price of $390 feels like a good deal because the original amount stays active. Without the anchor, the same watch at $390 might seem expensive. Online stores often show a manufacturer's suggested price next to their lower offer. The higher number lingers and shifts what feels acceptable. The financial impact builds through repetition. Consider someone who encounters anchored pricing on 5 discretionary items each month and spends an average of $30 more per item because the initial high figure changed their sense of value. That adds $150 extra each month or $1,800 over 12 months. The extra amount does not come from one large mistake. It comes from many small shifts in what seems reasonable. The most effective countermeasure is to pause and determine an independent value before comparing any offer. Write down what the item is worth to you personally without reference to the displayed price. Then compare that figure directly with the current offer. The gap between the two numbers usually shows how much the anchor is still influencing the decision. Mental accounting creates distortions by treating the same dollars differently depending on their source or the label attached to them. Money received as a tax refund, work bonus, gift card, or side income feels separate from regular salary, even though every dollar has identical purchasing power. Studies have demonstrated that people spend a much larger share of windfall money on non-essential items than they would spend from regular wages. The category changes behavior. Someone who receives a $2,000 tax refund may spend $700 of it on items they would never consider using their normal paycheck. The same person tracks regular income carefully to stay within a monthly budget. This separation leads to inconsistent results over time. Windfalls disappear faster, while regular income receives more attention. The pattern repeats with every bonus, refund, or unexpected payment across multiple years. Significant sums never reach savings goals or debt reduction because they fall into a different mental category. A practical way to reduce this bias is to remove the labels before the money arrives. Decide in advance where any unexpected amount will go according to existing priorities. Treat the refund or bonus exactly like regular income rather than creating a new spending category for it. This approach keeps the money aligned with long-term plans, instead of allowing the source to dictate how it is used. The pain of paying adds friction that disappears with certain payment methods. Handing over physical cash creates a noticeable sense of loss that encourages caution. Using a credit card or digital payment removes most of that immediate sensation. Research comparing payment methods found that people spent more on identical items when paying by card than when using cash. The difference appears in restaurants, retail stores, and online shopping. A household that budgets $500 for dining out over a month might add extra courses or drinks when paying by card. The same meals paid with cash tend to stay closer to the original budget because each addition registers more strongly. The effect grows stronger with subscriptions and automatic charges. A monthly service fee feels smaller when it leaves the account without any physical action. Over 12 months, a person might maintain several active subscriptions, partly because the individual amounts never create the same discomfort as counting out cash each time. Reintroducing friction restores awareness. Withdrawing the budgeted amount in cash for discretionary categories or setting a confirmation step on every card transaction creates a brief pause. That pause often keeps the total from drifting higher than intended. Hyperbolic discounting describes how strongly immediate rewards outweigh larger future ones. People choose a smaller amount available right now even when waiting would bring a meaningfully greater result. Let's walk through one concrete choice with numbers. Suppose you can receive $100 today or $140 after 6 months. Many people select the $100 immediately because the present reward feels stronger. Now extend the same pattern across repeated decisions. If similar choices occur 4 times in a year, the cumulative difference between taking the smaller immediate amounts and waiting for the larger delayed amounts reaches $160. Credit purchases follow the same logic. The enjoyment of the item arrives at once, while the full cost appears later in smaller pieces. Suppose a $400 purchase is spread over 8 months with interest. The total amount paid might reach $455. The extra $55 represents the price of choosing the immediate reward over paying the lower future cost in full. To make the future cost feel present, calculate the complete amount including interest before completing the purchase. Write that final total next to the item price. Seeing both numbers together often changes whether the immediate option still feels worth taking. See how the opportunity cost grows when each choice favors the present over the future. The Diderot Effect turns a single purchase into a series of additional ones. Acquiring one new item can make everything else around it feel mismatched or incomplete. A new phone may lead to a better case, a screen protector, wireless earbuds, and a new bag to carry the updated setup. Each additional item feels necessary once the first one has changed the reference point. The same pattern appears with clothing and home goods. Buying a high-quality jacket can prompt new shoes, a different belt, and updated accessories to match. What began as a single $400 purchase quietly becomes $700 or $800 in related spending. The effect spreads across larger decisions as well. A new sofa can trigger new curtains, a different rug, and fresh paint to make the room feel complete. Setting a clear rule in advance interrupts the chain. Any new purchase above a chosen amount must stand alone for at least 30 days without triggering additional related buys. This waiting period breaks the momentum before the secondary purchases begin. These biases rarely operate alone. An anchored high price on a new laptop can combine with mental accounting of a work bonus and the reduced pain of a one-click purchase to produce a single large decision. The same laptop might never have been bought if any one of those influences had been missing. Over months, the interactions multiply across different areas of spending. Awareness of the separate mechanisms makes the combined effect easier to notice and interrupt. When you recognize the anchor, question the spending category, feel the payment method, compare present and future costs, and block the upgrade chain, each bias loses much of its influence. The practical steps that follow from this understanding are straightforward yet powerful when applied consistently. Implement a 24-hour waiting period for any purchase above a set amount. Review every subscription and recurring charge at the start of each month, and cancel those no longer used. Calculate the full future cost of any credit purchase before completing it. Treat every dollar the same regardless of its source. Keep a simple list of current priorities and refer to it before making discretionary decisions. These habits do not eliminate spending. They return more control to the person making the decision rather than leaving the outcome to automatic mental shortcuts. Over a single year, The difference in total spending can reach several $1,000s for many people. That difference represents money that can instead support goals that actually matter. The next time an offer feels especially attractive, pause long enough to name the bias that may be operating. That short moment of recognition protects far more than the cost of any individual purchase and gradually builds a stronger sense of financial direction. Over time, these small pauses create space for choices that align more closely with what you truly value.